Yo, what's up guys, it's Kryex here. This pretty short and sweet video. We're learning some things about the Empire, literally going back to college with this video. You guys blew up my entire last Roblox clan video. I think we gained like 11 or 12 subscribers. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy the ride for this journey. So I'm gonna try and see if I can manage to make my way into the Vaktovian Empire, you know what I'm saying? So hope you guys enjoy this L1 training. Maybe next time there'll probably be like some sort of different scenario, maybe some sort of event, because I've heard interesting stories of previous L1 training. So hope you guys enjoy the video, learn something, and I will see you guys in the next one. What is he doing? Man didn't capitalize that C, he's banned.
Alright, as you guys are fixing the line, we're going to go ahead and start. We're going to do a topic called the basic attire rules. So for those who are new, the basic attire rules basically prohibits level 1s from wearing any type of hats. So as a level 1, which all of you guys are, you're not allowed to wear any hats with these exceptions. That would be headless, which is what I have on right now, and Kryex. Headless is allowed. And also the VAC 10 UGC. I'll put that on right now so you guys can see. Other than that, you are not allowed to wear any hats or accessories as a level 1. This would be the VAC UGC pin. It's kind of small, so let you guys see it. Right, we're going to actually talk about the basic attire rules now. So let's talk about uniform etiquette. So when you join a VAC game or facility or any related VAC event, you must wear your correct uniform, unless the event itself warrants otherwise, like a DT and you're on Raiders. You can speak infrared. So that's like the first point about uniform etiquette. Make sure you're wearing the correct uniform. The second point is that no matter where you may have been, you are in your Vaktovia uniform. So if you're on a warehouse map or any other foreign map, you should be in uniform if you're representing VAC. You're considered on duty, and all laws or regulations must be followed. So that's point number 2. And finally, point number 3 of uniform etiquette is that you may not alter your uniform or wear any unapproved t-shirts over it. So I'm going to put on an example t-shirt of what you cannot wear. This would be a good example of what not to wear. The only t-shirts that you are allowed to wear are ones that are issued by the merit department to you. So for example, these 2 ribbons I have on right now were issued to me by the merit department, and therefore I am allowed to wear them, and that would be considered correct and on duty. Any other t-shirts would not be allowed. So that's the last rule of uniform etiquette. We're actually going to talk about the attire regulations now. You can fall in, Birdie. You just missed uniform etiquette. Basically, you have to wear your uniform when you're on duty. T-shirts are only allowed if they're issued to you by the merit department. So we're working on attire regulations now. This would mean that all packages are banned from being used on duty. There are no exceptions aside from the Headless Horseman, which is what I have on right now, or Coreblock's Deathwalker's Headless, and the Roblox Headless, which is from the Noob Attack, which is considered fake headless. Let's talk about hair now. If you are a male, you are allowed to wear the hair I'm about to equip. This is the only form of hair you are allowed to wear if you are a male. There's 11 in line, so Birdie, go ahead and form a new line behind Paragon.
Am I a nerd that already kind of knew that?
Make sure you're 4 studs.
I read like the entire handbook.
A little closer.
Chat, am I cooked?
There you go. Right, so this is the boy or male hair. If you are a female, this would be the appropriate hair to wear. This is the only hair allowed for females. Alright, moving on. Let's talk about skin tones. All of you guys should be wearing the same skin tone. I believe it's called the dark stone gray or medium stone gray. Pretty sure it's dark stone gray. If you are a Vaktovian, you're allowed to wear the black skin tone, which is known as I think it's just called the black skin tone. So if you're a VAC, you have an option of black or gray. VAC is only gray. If you are a Legate Council member, which means Colonel or above, you can wear the white skin tone. So that's point number 3 of attire regulations. The first one is no banned packages, 2 is the hair part, and then 3 would be skin tone. The last point of attire regulation would be you are not allowed to wear faces that show happiness or signs of immaturity. I'm gonna equip a few just to show examples of what they would look like. This would be an example of a band face. Whoops, I've had this on. This would be a band face. It is a smiley face with teeth. This would not be allowed. Another example would be this one. This is another band face.
Imagine
This would be a not band
tons
face.
of Vaktovians walking around like that.
You can speak infrared. Fearless is banned. Which one is fearless? Squiggly eyebrows and a smirk. You can message me it after the training, and I will let you know. It doesn't have to be exactly like negative. Sorry about that, Kryex. It could be like neutral toned as well, like just a straight line. That would be allowed as well. Alright, so I think you guys get the gist of this. So just no banned faces. So let's talk about the actual attire rules. This is the last part of the basic attire rules. Please stay tabbed in. I can see when you guys tab out. I just won't give you credit for the topic if you're just tabbed out for the majority of the time. Alright, this is the most important part, so listen to this.
I'm fully tabbed in. I'm locked in, chat.
We'll start with rule 1 of the basic attire rules, and that is no band hats. That's a pretty vague rule. I'm going to break it down. So that means no shoulder accessories, back accessories, oversized hats, bright colored hats. That also means no animal hats, no waist accessories, front accessories, seasonal hats out of season.
There's no way
Like I shouldn't be
all
wearing a green Christmas hat in the middle of, or the end of April. Also, no banned divisional combos. So if you are not a member of the division, such as Palace Guard or Royal Guard, you shouldn't be wearing their hat combos. That is rule 1. The only exception to this is that front UGC pin. Next is rule 2, which is hats should blend in cohesively with your uniform and not have a high contrast. So for example, I have a green pauldron, which means I could technically wear green hats. That does not mean I could wear a pink hat or a blue hat or a neon white hat. Those would be not following this rule. So they have to be in the same color scheme, if that makes sense. And then the final rule of the basic attire rules, this is the most confusing, so please note this down. The third and final rule of the basic attire rules would be no fedoras or formal attire. What that means is you can't be wearing a fedora or a beret, anything of that sorts. However, special permission can be granted if it is paired with a serious hat combination, and that would be approved by a legate colonel plus. So if you have a serious hat combination and you want to wear formal attire, such as the classic fedora, you can message someone like Astral Strike or Colonel Avatron or someone from the merit department. They will answer your questions. And just make sure you send them a screenshot of the uniform and the hat combo, and they'll give you a verdict on that.
Wait, did we say greetings?
Alright, so that is the basic attire rules. Are there any questions over that? You can speak, Kryex. Also, please fix this line. Melon, adapt. No, you wouldn't greet him. This is an active training.
Bro.
A lot of you guys are new or coming back after several years, so I'm going to show you guys a little grace.
Yeah, I'm coming back after all.
A good rule of thumb is that you should have at least one arm gap between each person. So because Paragon is first in line, he's setting the standard for everyone else. So if I draw a line across all of you, you should be perfectly on this white line, and it should not curve at all. Which Melon, adapt, are off a little bit, but also your one stud spacing is off as well. So Paragon, you stay still. My arm should fit between each and every one of you, and there shouldn't be any gap. So Yefra, there's a little gap. Your arm shouldn't be colliding inside of mine as well. That's good. Manada, I think you've gone to a formations training. Yeah, it's pretty good. I know some of you guys haven't done this in a while. It's better to learn and correct now than get embarrassed in front of a rally.
That would be me.
Or an assessment.
Last time I did
That's
stuff
good,
like
Melon.
this, it was like a couple years ago in Seoul. I'd probably say like 2 years.
If you can see the white line in front or behind your legs, you're wrong. Also, I would recommend not jumping if you know how to. If you need to make micro adjustments, you could tap A and D, and whichever one you tap first will be the direction you go.
Yo, Frosted, what you doing, cut? Bruh.
A little closer, infrared.
Sorry, bro, I'm hating.
Perfect. Right, so that was the basic attire rules. We're going to go over one more topic, and that is invalid orders. So, I'm going to explain the difference between a valid and invalid order. Alright, so all valid orders given by a person of authority are expected to be followed without question. However, any instruction that would force an individual to go against a law, rule, or regulation is referred to as an invalid order. So, if an invalid order is issued, the person who was ordered must respond with the following format. This is pretty simple. I'm going to type it out in chat. So, for example, if Colonel Avatron told me to smite all of you right now, that would be an invalid order. I would say, invalid order, sir. That goes against a de facto law. Make sure you always include the reason, or it's very vague and doesn't really help out anyone. So, for example, if I ordered Kryex to pick up a sword I dropped for him and go kill Petting VX, he would say, invalid order, sir. That breaks the de facto law of killing a comrade outside of a combative environment. Or it could be anything. If we were at a raid and I told all of you guys to surrender, that would be against Law 7. So you would say, invalid order, sir. That goes against Law 7. You can speak, Frosted.
Insightful information right here, my brother. We're learning so much. Guys, we are going to become the best Vaktovians, like, ever.
If at an event, we win the event, is it an invalid order if the leader tells us to type glory to Vaktovia in public chat? That is probably the only exception to that law. Essentially, if you win a raid, you are allowed to say glory to Vaktovia in public chat as a sign of strength. But other than that, you should always be saying in team chat. So if the leader says don't, I would say it's technically an invalid order, but not one that should be seriously addressed. I don't think a leader would ever tell you not to type in that, which that's not as common as it used to be. People used to type, like every single person on the team would type glory to Vaktovia. But unless the leader says to, I mean, you don't have to, but it's still recommended. But that would, like, it's a violation of Law 11, but at the same time it's not, if that makes sense. But usually after a raid, the event's technically inactive, so it would be permitted to type in public chat. Alright, let's go back to invalid orders. We got a little off topic. So, let's say that person who gave you an invalid order doesn't stop and he keeps issuing that invalid order. You would go through a process called RRR, which is a different topic, and I'm going to save that for another day. Are there any questions over invalid order? Or basic attire rules? Either or? Alright, out of curiosity, who here thinks that they could pass an assessment over those two topics without looking at their notes? Like, you could get 9 out of 10 questions right. Or 10 out of 10. If I tested you guys over those two topics...
Oh god.
Do you think you could pass without notes? I prefer an answer from everyone. Yes or no?
Of course.
Honesty will go a long way. Depends on the questions. Well, the questions they'll be over the two topics. So, Nippy, how do you feel?
Yo guys, if I look like a dumbass, I'm sorry.
Alright, the majority of you guys said yes, you could. I'm going to toggle off the notes in-game. I can see when you tab out and how many times you tab out, So I'd prefer if you don't know an answer, just simply say you don't know. I don't know, sir. We're going to do a short assessment. If everyone here knows how to use the in-game Whispers format, open a Whispers with me and send a dot or a period. I want you guys to stay tabbed in during this entire time.
Notes at all.
You shouldn't be like renting an Airbnb during the training and like purposely like not focusing on it. I've had that happen before.
Renting an Airbnb.
Like don't like call your girlfriend, bro. Focus on this for like the next 20 minutes. All right. The first question.
Imagine.
Is going to be over basic attire rules. I want you to answer it before the timer runs out, not after. As soon as the timer runs out and you're not finished, just press enter. Make sure you guys are also following Law 1 and your answers, which be addressing me by sir. I'll type out the questions as I say them. So the first question is, what skin tone should VACs wear? What is the one skin tone that VACs are allowed to wear?
Easy. Like, wait. See how fast I typed that shit, cuz? I mean, come on. Don't play with me.
I'll give you guys like 20 more seconds on that. That was a pretty short one. Not
him saying that out loud.
You can speak. I noticed. Kern Magne, do you know how to use Whispers? Where are you? Oh, there you are. If you say /W and then my username, a little bubble in the chat should pop up and you can just press enter. I'll open the Whisper for you. You can either do that or just click my name in the chat and you'll see a purplish, pinkish. You're good. Just for the rest of the questions, do them in Whispers. Alright, question 2. What skin tone are legates allowed to wear? What skin tones are legates allowed to wear? There is technically 3 parts to this question. There are 3 different types. What are all 3?
Hopefully this is right.
If you don't know the name of it, like the type of that color, you can just say the majority of the color. Like if we're talking about like neon greenish blue, you can just say blue.
Hopefully I got that right. Otherwise I might be tripping. Because I know Vaktovians are allowed to wear black, darkstone gray. Vaktovians can probably do that.
Alright, question 3.
Then white. I heard him say white.
What is the first rule of the basic attire rule regulations? There are 3 rules. What is the first?
Oh god.
You can go into a lot of detail about this. It wouldn't hurt you if you did. Answer it before the timer runs out, or as soon as it is. Yeah, frosted. Just hug a wall. Fill the gap, Kern, Magne, Octa.
Hopefully that's right.
Melon, stay there.
Let me know if I'm cooked.
A couple of you guys got confused. The basic attire rules has 3 parts. The first one is uniform etiquette. The second is attire regulations. And then the third one was attire rules. So there's etiquette, regulations, and rules. That can be a little confusing. But the question I asked was, what is the first rule of the basic attire regulations? So that would be all hair is banned other than midnight flash anime hair for the males, or that bun, the hair in the bun, which is black for the females.
I guess I got that right.
Oh, sorry. No, that's not correct. I asked what the first rule was. That's packages are banned for being on duty.
Damn, I think I'm cooked.
So attire regulations, first rule, all packages are banned from being used on duty. The second rule would be all other hair would be banned. That was kind of a trick question. I don't expect you guys to get that one. You won't be asked that. We're gonna switch to invalid orders now. Give me an example of an invalid order that I did not say. Give me an example of an invalid order that I did not say. What order would someone give that would be considered an invalid order? There's a lot of things you could choose from in this. Pick any that I did not say. Maybe that's a good one. Doesn't have to be very descriptive.
Why is, bro, the chat's like a piece of attire? High rank and all.
Right? Those are all pretty good so far. That's okay. I'll message you after, Octa. Or I'll just say it right now. I'm not trying to call any of you out, by the way. We went over a lot of stuff in a very short period of time. I'm not allowing you guys to use notes. So an invalid order, some of you guys got confused, is anything that goes against a rule or a regulation or a written law or a de facto law. Anything that would seem against the rules would be considered an invalid order. Right, it could be a de facto law or anything. Good job, Kryex. So, the next question is going to be...
Shit took me a minute, bro, but I cooked. I couldn't get my phrasing right.
What format do you use to respond to an invalid order?
Oh, fuck.
There's a certain way you should respond to an invalid order. How would you respond to it? I put it in quotation marks so you would get it down verbatim.
I think that's right. Yeah, bro, we're going back to college, man. Going back to college with this one.
You guys 20 more seconds for that one. That was a short one. Make sure you guys are staying tabbed in, though. For those who joined late, I can see when you guys are tabbed out and don't have Roblox showing on your screen. This would be the format. Invalid order, search, or ma'am, or rank, and then the reason.
Oh, I forgot rank.
Alright, I'm gonna ask one more, and then we'll conclude. This is gonna be over invalid orders. So, let's say that an officer continues to give you guys invalid orders. And it would be understandable to assume that that officer has gone rogue and has betrayed the Empire. What format would you follow through? It's a 3-letter acronym we talked to at about the end. What is the 3-letter acronym? I'll give you a hint. This is something very easy to remember.
Bro.
If you know what those words are, that's great. If you don't know the 3 letters, that's fine. It's a 3-letter acronym, and it's very easy to remember. Oh, we're not doing 40 seconds. We'll do 30.
Wait.
This should be a very easy one. We talked over it pretty briefly. Not asking you guys to know what it is and what it's about, but you just need to know, be aware of it for right now.
I don't know.
Let's see.
I have no idea.
Alright, that one was RRR. So if someone goes rogue and you've given them reminders, it's safe to say that they're going rogue and you just need to report them. So RRR stands for remind, record, report. We didn't go over that. That one was just something I wanted to throw in.
Oh.
Are there any questions over basic attire rules or invalid orders or any other thing that we didn't talk about? You have a question over?
I was about to say, I was like, I swear I don't remember him doing that or like going over that. That was the end of my VAC level 1 training. If you guys made it this far, comment banana. I just want to see how many people made it this far and wanted to learn about Vaktovia. And if you guys do want to see more VAC level 1 trainings, you guys just let me know down in the comments. I'm tracking my progression. So, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next video.